Good morning, traders. It is Wednesday, February the 20th. Taking a look at the charts, we got the SP 500 30-minute chart here on the left indicating green bars, meaning we are still in an uptrend. The bias for today, short-term cycle analysis, gives us a downward bias. We've been bucking the trend, as you can see here, from the bias for the cycles has been to the downside, and what we've got is this kind of rising wedge to the upside. Maybe we're going to get a little more crack to the downside here soon, but overall the market is still very strong in an uptrend. If you look at the daily chart, we're coiling here in the longer term trend here. We're coiling with a nice bull flag, and it looks like the market, I think, could pop and potentially pierce this previous high, these highs from November, December, and from there we could get a sharp reversal and get a more significant breakdown in the market. So there's a lot of volatility, I think, very close to triggering prices in this very narrow channel here, really squeezing up into this resistance zone. So there's going to be some fireworks very soon. I think we're first going to see some type of pop, and then we're going to see some type of reversal to the downside. Now, if we take a look over at metals yesterday, nice move higher. Really, just the US dollar pulled back, and we saw the metals really take off without a whole lot of news. I think there was an upgrade by Morgan Stanley or Merrill Lynch, one of those previously on Monday, so that could have helped give a big pop in gold. But if we take a look, let's just zoom out on gold, go to the weekly chart, and just focus on the weekly chart here. We are right up into this resistance zone, right to all these previous highs, and we are going to get into this, what I think will be a very choppy market condition, meaning we're going to start to see the market pop, have big drops, big volatility, much like we saw the last couple times it got into this area, huge price ranges. Here we had a reversal. Over here we had a big price range until it broke down. And I could see that potentially happening again. We've had a really nice move to the upside. You could draw a support trend line going forward in time. Maybe gold corrects all the way down to this level. It has that potential. This pattern here is big enough that it could be the case, or maybe it's just going to hold up above the 1300, build a launch pad, and take off. And if we take a look at the big picture here, the weekly chart, and zoom back in time, you can see how big this pattern is. It's a multi-year pattern, and for it to really connect with this new set of pivot lows really isn't all that significant in the grand scheme of things before it potentially maybe breaks out. So we'll have to see where it goes. I do feel bearish on metals and miners as it pushes up to these extreme levels, at least for a short-term knee-jerk reaction to the downside. Taking a look over at, let's pull up the miners just real quick, GDXJ, and zoom in. This is the weekly chart. Again, pushing right up into these resistance levels here, these previous highs into this high. Overall, I think we're going to see some selling step in here very soon with a reversal to the downside. Again, expecting more or less a consolidation here as it tries to eat through resistance. But a big part of it, I think, is going to play with what the US dollar could do here. We are still making a series of higher lows. We've got a low, a low, a low. We've got higher highs in the market. It is kind of channeling its way up. You can argue here we are still channeling higher with these series, and we could still see the dollar post pretty good gains going forward. And if that happens, we are going to see that pullback coming back in metals as the dollar rises. So over the next couple of weeks, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. We are anticipating a sideways weakness in the precious metals sector because of this. Looking over at energies real quick, natural gas starting to move up there yesterday and again today. Here is the weekly chart. This was what our trade is based on, our UGAS play. We are basing it on this significant support level that has been hit many times in the past. When you drop quickly to this level, you usually see a bounce, and that's where we're at. We've dropped to this level. You can see sometimes it's taken a couple weeks to get stability. Other times it's just tagged it and taken off. Today we're up 0.8%, so getting a little bit of traction. We'll see if it can start to pop and really run. If we look at the dollar chart here, you can see, or sorry, the daily chart, you can see we're starting to move up. I think we're really close to a strong pop up to this $293 area, which would move our UGAS ETF substantially higher. In pre-market, our position currently is up about 14% from our entry price, so it's starting to move. Obviously, a pop up into this area with natural gas would give us huge returns on our UGAs, which is what we're going for. Something similar to this, where we just have this big pop. We get in, we finally get the pop, and we move out. Last but not least, taking a look at crude oil here. Daily chart of crude oil, it is pushing up to these nominal new highs. Overall, I haven't really seen a setup that I like in crude oil. It's flirting with resistance. We had a little bit of a pullback, and it's continued to kind of drift and push up into this area. Overall, not really too eager to see a trade setup there. I do feel as though the plays here are going to be the overall equities market hitting this resistance area, popping and reversing. I think that an inverse ETF could become a very good play in the near future. I do feel as though if we look at gold, gold trading up at these key resistance areas, if it'll load here, let me go to the weekly chart. Gold, if we were to draw a sloping trend line, we've got these previous highs in the market. We're getting up to this area, this 1340, 1360 area, where we could see a sharp potential reversal back down to 1300, and natural gas with this this bounce up to the 3 area. So those are the 3 kind of major pivots I think taking place in the market. The other one would potentially be Bitcoin here. Let's just pull it up real quick. If you look at Bitcoin, this is the weekly chart. It has been basing for a long time here, just starting to break above these pivot highs. If the daily chart shows a little bit cleaner here, if you zoom in, you can see this sloping down trend line, potentially basing formation, and it's starting to break out and hold up. So this could be the early signs of Bitcoin starting to break out. The key levels here, as it breaks these highs, it should have more energy. That's a significant high, and significant high. If it starts to run up through these and break these, it could add a lot of momentum, and we could see a quick pop to 5,000, which is simply a whole number. Be a lot of traders saying if it gets to 5,000, I want back out of Bitcoin. So that's kind of where we stand with that. Anyways, that's it for now. Talk to you in a little bit. Bye-bye.